Hey everyone, and welcome to Dice with Rice. Today we're going to be devouring biomass with Tyranids. The first thing you need to know about Tyranids is that they're a scoring army. And unlike some of my other videos on factions, we only have one list today with a slight variation. And this is because Tyranids actually have a fantastic unit for scoring. And this unit really defines how the faction can play. Without this unit, Tyranids have close to a 30% win rate. With this unit, Tyranids can compete with anything. So with that said, let's get right to it. First, we have a Hive Tyrant with adaptive biology. The main reason we want it is for the ability to use a stratagem that we've already used for free. In addition, we want his aura of advance and shoot for our other Tyranid. Now, he's not just a utility and buff piece, he actually can put out some real damage in melee, and while his shooting isn't particularly strong, with a few good rolls, it can be pretty good. Then we have the unit that I was talking about. It's 3x1 Biovore. Now, Biovores work in this edition thanks to the core rule defining how a unit is eligible to shoot to complete secondaries. In this case, what you do is place your Biovores behind a wall, spawn spore mines with them, and use those spore mines in the same phase to score your secondary points. A really good plan most of the time is to take fixed secondaries and do deploy teleport homers and behind enemy lines, or deploy teleport homers and engage in all fronts. And Tyranids are actually great at playing tactical too if there isn't an opportunity to take those fixed secondaries. Then spore mines have a great rule that prevents people from advancing and ending within 6 inches of them. Next, we have a very fun piece. It's a Trygon. Trygon have the ability to rapid ingress in within 3 inches of your opponent. This means they're always going to have to respect a big old Tyranid popping up out of the ground right next to them at the end of their movement phase. And while the threat of this guy is really good, he actually isn't a slouch in melee, with a lot of attacks at high strength and damage. Then we have 2 other pieces for holding our objective. We've got 2 solo Lictors. Lictors have all the core words that you want. They have lone operative, so they're not going to be shot away by indirect. And they have fights first, so if somebody charges them, they can use their 6, strength 7, -2, 2 damage attacks, combined with your Tyranid rules, before the enemy gets a chance to swing. And it's at this point in the list I wanted to deviate just a little bit to say, you could cut the Trygon and 2 Lictors, and play 2 Haruspecs and 1 Death Leaper instead. They serve basically the same function. The Haruspecs are big and tough, and you push them forward to keep the enemy away from you, giving you enough time to score your secondaries. And Death Leaper serves the exact same function as a Lictor. Next, we have another important unit. We have 3 Exocrine. Exocrine are a great shooting platform. They're a great recipient of the free strat from the Hive Tyrant for a 5-up Feel No Pain, combined with their high defensive stats naturally. They can advance and shoot when inside of the Hive Tyrant's aura, and they really shine into any target thanks to your detachment rule letting you get either exploding 6s or lethal hits. And sometimes when your opponent has a mixed force, you can use the Synaptic Insight stratagem to make sure they get exactly what you want when you're shooting that turn. They also conveniently give reroll 1s to your army in shooting against targets they shoot, meaning they can stack together to do some really serious damage to just about any target, from Terminators up to Knights. Generally, your plan with these is to hide them behind a wall, and then advance out and shoot at the opponent once they come to try to deal with your spore mines that are scoring all your points. Then when your opponent tries to respond, you give them their 5-up Feel No Pain and hopefully tank all the damage. Then we have our chaff pieces, and our chaff pieces are 2 11-man Neurogaunt units. Neurogaunts are great chaff in that they're OC1, whereas other chaff, like Nurglings, are OC0. Conveniently, our Neurogaunts can be made excessively annoying through stacking defensive buffs on them. And thanks to their Endless Multitude keyword, they can use the Endless Swarm stratagem to regrow in our command phase to steal objectives or to block our opponents from moving. And as you'll see with some of the next pieces in the list, they become exceedingly difficult to fully deal with, because even if 1 Neurogaunt lives, you can start to regrow them back. And following those Neurogaunts, we have 1 Psychophage. We want the Psychophage just for the 6-up Feel No Pain aura. Our next unit is 3 Venomthropes. Venomthropes are great because they give -1 to hit to themselves, Zoanthropes, and the Neurogaunts. And as I said before, if 1 Neurogaunt lives, we can start to regrow the unit back. So every little bit of defensive buff we can put on them is going to be helpful in achieving that plan. Additionally, they give cover to all of our units. An Exocrine going from a 3-up save to a 2-up save, even when standing completely in the open, is going to be a little bit tough for your opponent to take down. And finally, we have one of Tyranid's best shooting units, 3 6-man units of Zoanthropes. Zoanthropes have a fantastic gun. They can switch profile between being a strength 12 shot, which is very rare in this edition, and D3 blast shots at strength 7, -2, D3 damage. Now the Neurogaunts are going to have an invuln, -1 to hit, and can start to regrow, which means your opponent really needs to think about how they deal with them. because oftentimes we're going to have 1 or 2 sitting behind a wall, we're going to lose the first 9, and then we're going to start to regrow from those last 2. And with that, that's our list. Tyranids are setting up to be a very well-balanced faction, and there were a lot of units I considered for this list that didn't make it. Conveniently, we're also the first faction to get a codex, which means our deep unit pool will continue to grow with the new units. That's all for this one, guys. Thanks for joining. Please remember to like and subscribe, as it keeps the content flowing. And I'll catch you in the next one, where we're going to be talking about World Eaters and Angron Yahtzee. As always, thanks for rolling some dice with Rice.